Hey, this is Drew Baird from In Audio, and we have a really special day planned here today. We are at the Bricasti manufacturing plant in Massachusetts, and we're gonna take a little tour around the facilities to show how cool this facility is, and the most important thing is how many cool things are being made in this factory here in the USA. You know, it's a great American story about manufacturing in the US, which is, you know, the hot topic these days. And it's amazing all the different things that they're producing for their products here at this plant. So let's take a walk around and show all the cool things that they're doing. All right, so Brian.
Yes. Hi.
Tell me a little bit about what's going on in this part of the facilities.
Okay,
here.
this is we call building N. N is in Nancy. In this building, we do all of the, let's call it the clean work, some of the clean work, assembly of the products, testing of the products, some hand soldering, cable manufacturing, shipping, receiving, because we have a loading dock in the other room, and all our final test and assembly. So basically, this is the final assembly test of the products. And we have a couple different working cells, okay? Cell here is primarily for making consumer products, M21, M20, M1, M19s. As you can see on the racks, there's some power supplies, and in the racks behind, there's different, parts for front panels. Over here in the back, you have all finished goods of front panels, back panels, side panels, and such. Those are some M7 chassis that are assembled over here. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we have a couple assembly cells. This is one primarily for the consumer market. Mm-hmm. We have some circuit boards and power supplies all prepared, power supplies.
Transport power supplies?
Yep, transport power supplies. You know, we need to assemble one for a customer, so it's getting ready to go. And some circuit boards that are going to go into an
MDX and digital analog converters.
For the M11, okay?
M11.
Okay. And usually when a product is assembled or partially assembled, they're sitting here like these M11s are waiting for the boards we'll see later that we just run off. So they're just getting ready to be assembled. The M12 and 21, same thing. We're testing the boards right now to get those assembled. So they get over here, then Lisa finishes assembling them. And then we bring them over and test them and burn them in. And here we're assembling most of the professional product, being what's called our reverb calls the M7.
M7 front panels.
And there's a front panel and a layer partially assembled. Mm-hmm. And she's right now assembling our M10 remote.
And this controls a whole bunch of M7s.
Yes. Front panels, in different aspects. Here's the switchboards, chassis that are prepared with the power supply in them. Mm-hmm. All right, so the power supplies get mounted, the front panels get put on, and then the boards get put in, and then we bring them over and test. And then here we have another cell, which is primarily for through-hole soldering and assembly for small volume, such as, for example, right now she's working on one of the called the current gain board to our large amplifier. It's called for an M20. This was being done for an M25, and it has 24 transistors. We start with the raw PCB and hand assemble all the through-hole components. You also do the power supplies. I think I pointed out to you before. This is power supplies for the consumer products, analog supplies, power supply for one of the power amps in partial assembly. Mm-hmm. And I think we can probably see something under here where here's a M25 power supply assembled.
That's a beast.
Okay.
That's not even the biggest amp.
Right, this is for the 25.
Parts
everywhere. Various components, all through hole. Connectors, resistors, caps, different cable. Like I said, we make our own cable assemblies. Here's the cables. Here's the power supply for the M7, the analog supply, because the M7 has two supplies. It has a digital
and an analog.
And an analog supply. Kind
Separate.
Of crazy, but
very cool.
Cable assemblies.
Pimping and trimming.
Yep. Molex machine to place and crimp the connectors. And also a lot of hand Brian's making some connectors for the amplifier, for the power,
Voltage plugs.
the voltage setting plugs for the
All
power
the different
amps.
voltage plugs we have.
Yeah.
Keep fingers out of this machine. Or you might have Molex connectors on the end of your fingers.
Right. And then we come into this room, and typically off to the right here would be this. It's empty right now, but
A lot of testing.
yeah, when we have M7s, we'd stack them all in here. They'd be burning in. So it's kind of our burn-in rack. So when Lisa finished assembling the product, she brings it over to this rack, and then we bring it over and test it. Like here's an M5. That, in fact, I need that M5
Yeah.
for the show. I'm going to use the M5. Here's an M28 power supply.
Yeah. Just one.
Just one.
Monoblocks.
Yes. So basically, when the boards come from next door, we bring them here and test them in a test fixture. This is a fixture we use just for testing boards, plot boards in and out, different types. They have to be programmed. You know, the software has to be programmed. And then we test them to make sure they work correctly. And we have a Roden Schwartz UPV for doing all our audio testing. And of course, an array of different programmers,
Dongles or- yeah.
Xilinx, and I mean all kinds of, for all the programmable parts, the CPLDs and such. That's a test fixture for testing power amps.
M28.
Yeah, we use that. We mount up the amps on a test board over here. This heat sink. So we'll mount things. You know, we just mount them on there, and then we mount it all up there and test it, and then pull them all off, and then mount them up on the heat sink that they're going to be used on.
Testing transports.
Yep, there's an M19 that we just put together for a customer.
And what's
And
so really cool is over here, so these are all the different parts that you guys machine in-house.
Yes, for example,
Binding posts, volume controls.
inside the amplifier, we crimp everything on gold terminations, and we made this block out of copper that we can bolt ring terminals to.
Very cool. So
And here's a
binding post.
binding post we mill, and the nuts.
Yep.
We mill all that out of copper, so there's no brass. In the electrical audio path in the amplifiers, we don't use any brass connectors. It's all copper.
Built
And
copper.
we have it, the copper gold plated
Gold-plated. Keep from
by
corrosion.
plating for electronics, who actually plates them right over the copper. So there's not even any nickel in there.
Wow.
You know, we make all our own different types of cable assemblies. Like I made my own. This is the.
Oh yeah, for the binding post.
Yep.
Keep it from spinning when you put it on.
So anytime we need to make something, we go next door and we make it.
Nice.
Okay.
I love the purple parts.
These two boards were assembled. So now we will mount them on that heatsink today or later on. See, this is for the speaker post. So this runs back to the speaker. So we run 2 runs of H-gauge copper to the back panel.
And there's a stack of M28s
Well, we don't want to be showing that to anybody.
far away, from afar.
I mean, if you know, that's,
Yeah.
I told them I can find homes for them, you know.
Oh yeah.
These are M25 power supplies.
25.
Yep. We separate the cap bank, so it's cut down the middle. So it's half the capacitance of the 28. And this is an interesting. This is called a cornerstone. You know, it's perfectly flat piece of granite. And when we go to put the still point feet on the product,
Right.
we have to level it.
Got you.
So
So that's
this
perfectly
is
level.
Perfectly flat. Level, flat. Not,
Right.
I mean, level can be the floor level,
Yeah,
right?
but perfectly flat.
But it's perfectly flat.
Yeah. So you can figure
And
out the
it's-
feet, make sure one doesn't wobble.
Yes, you put it on there, and then it is perfectly flat. Machine shop. Now we're going into shipping. Obviously, all the packing materials. Shipping, receiving. We got a garage door here that open up and brings things in, go out.
Stuff going to Exponent.
Yeah, this is some of the Exponent stuff we have to go through. Obviously, this isn't going because that's the title speakers, and somebody wants to buy them.
Yes, you're gonna be
Maybe I should
sending
bring
your
them and
speakers
maybe I
instead.
should bring them and put them up and say for sale.
Why not?
And we got transformers. That's the M15 transformer. This is the M28 transformer, and that's the M32.
Ooh, big boy.
Yes. You know, Jose's got the big boys. I got these at home. Enough for me. So that's the nickel tour of building M. So let's go to building J. Building J was where we started. Right. Originally, we got this because of the machines, and this room was empty, and her brother started in this room.
Yeah.
And then moved out. Okay. Yeah, this is let's call it the metal finishing room. And here we'll, for example, we have to sand out some of the mill marks, and then blast with use fine glass beads. So it's bead blasting, and we have two chambers, a small one and a big one there. And then we go into the metal CNC milling.
Lots of CNC machines. All kinds of aluminum getting prepped to go into a
Yeah, these are
CNC machine.
Those are jaws. You know that when you run a part, you got to grab a hold of it.
Yep.
So if you're making a knob, you know you have to flip it over and put these two guys together. So these jaws, and they put them back in the vise. So those are for use making the large knob on the M1, for example. But eventually, every time he does it, he has to cut them down, and they end up you got to start all over again. Because when you put it into the machine, it's not perfectly where it's got to be. So then you got to re-trim them. So eventually, you burn through them and throw them out and start all over.
Yeah. So you make your knobs, your buttons, your feet, your chassis, mounting plates, binding posts, remote control plates, everything CNC'd here at Bricasti.
Right now on this machine, we're making the front panel for the M7. This is what it looks like coming out of the machine, okay? And of course it starts with this. And then we end up with that. And, you know, USA aluminum.
That's right, USA aluminum, baby.
So you can see on the inside, this is where all the circuit boards mount. You want to get a view?
Aluminum snow. Very cool.
We just finished the amplifier. The loudspeaker bottom plate. We'll show you that later. So you see, we still have the fixture in. You see the angle. Now you can see Now you can see how we ended up with that.
That's right.
Right? See?
Yep.
So the guy, you know, it drops in there. You know, here's an example of some tools. That's a face mill. That'll cut on a flat face. That's a regular end mill, 375-inch end mill.
Let's go look at the optical illusion piece.
Yeah. And this one, he said he's setting up to do the amplifier size. And you can see
That's some serious chunks of aluminum right
you
there.
can see some serious chunks of aluminum here. So that whole heat sink of the power amp is milled out of a block of aluminum.
Wow.
Then he's got some other, that's for the base of the M5, that's the M3 base. So these are all jobs coming up. We're gonna start on some of these next week or so. So this is where we clean up, you know, after the parts are done, we gotta wash them off, wrap them up, and then, you know, send them out to be anodized and plated. This is the bottom of our new S7 loudspeaker, where the crossover will mount on this and go up into the bottom of the speaker. This is what the bottom of an M21 looks like. It's the top cover of...
Top of many products.
Yep.
All the DACs. That's the base of the 25?
That's the top
Top of the 25.
cover of a 21,
Oh,
25 and a 15.
That's a hell of a piece of aluminum right there.
Yep. The bottom is similar because it's like, there's the bottom, he's got a bottom. That would be a bottom plate for an M15, and then,
Oof, that's a heat sink.
yeah, that's what he's milling. I'm gonna start milling some of those, right?
Yeah. Those be,
That's for the 1525.
Wow.
That's for the 28.
Oof. Dwarfs it.
This never gets warm.
Never. No.
Never.
Overbuilt.
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 This gets warm.
Yeah.
Only and it gets warm because of the biasing, not because of using it.
Oh, you guys even make your own nuts?
Yes.
Wow.
Copper nuts. Can't buy copper nuts.
No, you can't.
So these will get polished.
Wow.
polished and then gold plated.
So there's like a stock room of some things. So, you know, for example, here's the part to the back to the
M10.
M10.
Mm-hmm.
Sandwiches together like
Front
that.
part's right next to your Brian.
Over here. There's that one, which ends up mounting on that.
Lots of aluminum. Bits and pieces.
Remotes.
Paying for quality.
That's the back to an M3.
Front M3.
Yes. So yeah, here we get things that are ready. Then
Yep.
we'll get them off to plating as we need them. Here's the front to the front panel to the M25.
Beautiful.
Back panels for M21, which you saw being sanded over there, getting ready to go to plating. So we got a lot of them we ran off. we got caught up on some of this stuff. Okay.
Are you able to recycle all the shards, the waste?
Yes. Yeah. The
What do they
chips
do? Remelt it down and
Yeah, you
make
give it to-
blocks again?
to the recyclers.
Very cool.
Some knobs. There's
A lot of knobs.
a lot of knobs. That's the knob we use on the M7.
Mm-hmm.
So we run through, 500 of those a year. The little nameplate for the back. That's the one for the M1, M21, M12.
21, 11, 12.
The big, series 2, right? Size.
Mhm. Changing the input.
Right. There's the little plate we do. We engrave that.
Series 2 M1.
Yep. For the naming.
Is this for the speaker up here?
Yeah, that's
Rear
for
port?
a speaker I never built. I
Oh.
was working on a speaker and I decided to give up on it. That was the base cabinet.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what you need? A Bricasti sub. Use that for a Bricasti sub.
Well, it's a very interesting design because it's all sandwiched layers of
Oh, is that
aluminum.
the speaker?
Yeah. And I made it so that you don't need the internal bracing.
Right.
I mean, it's solid.
Yeah.
So the
Dead.
volume, there's so much volume in a cabinet from the bracing.
Right. Right.
I mean, but I got certain. COVID came, and we weren't doing shows anymore. That's the side of the amp, and then this guy mounts to here with isolators. So you have a sandwiched two layers of aluminum, sandwiched together for no vibration. But I gave up.
I can make a tube amp chassis out of that thing. Put the tubes up here.
Well, we don't want to show that. It's something that's not going to
Pretty heavy.
exist. Now we'll go over to building D, as in David. This we acquired about a year ago, about a year ago. Okay, so here we have what's called PCB assembly. Most of the products are very high density surface mount. technology that's used, and you need what's called a pick and place machine to pick all these small components and place them on the board. For example, that's the bottom side of an MDX board. So you can see the number of components on that, on a high-speed digital processor like that. So this board is, doesn't have the connectors put on yet. Okay.
Yeah.
That particular one, the MDX is here with the connectors. So all the connectors have been placed. All the components are on.
And this is a pizza oven, basically.
Yes,
this for circuit boards.
Yeah, this is what's called a reflow oven, and it's a long programmable under with a conveyor belt in it. And you can see right here, what you set up is what's called a profile, a reflow profile. So it starts out at a certain temperature and raises up, and then cools off. Okay, it's enough to melt all the solder on the board, and all the parts flow and fall into place.
Yeah. Stuff goes in, stuff comes out.
All right, so this is what you call a pick and place machine. It's my data. And the advantage of this machine is you can have a lot of components on it lined up, okay? So it can place a lot of components without having to change your trays. And right now we're running the M11 analog board and doing what you would call the top side of the board. And probably in a few minutes it'll spit out and give us the board. So all these reels are lined up with all the different components, resistors, passive, active, parts. And when it gets over, it'll rotate around, and the guy picks it up and sticks it on the board.
Yeah.
When it goes on the board has what's called solder paste on it.
There's a pasting machine over there.
Yes, and maybe when she's ready to squish one, we can take a picture of the squeegee machine. Okay. So this is where it sort of starts. Is you take the PCB fab, which is here, fabrication. You can see all the little pads on it. Okay. This already has the bottom already done.
Yep.
So you run one side, run it through the oven, and then you do the other side. Okay?
Yep.
So now she's doing the top side, which is placing all these components. This board goes into this guy, and there's a stencil here. You can probably get on the other side and see it.
Yep.
That's an image of this, and the solder paste will go through the stencil and just go on the pads.
Right.
Okay?
Just enough to solder all the chips and passive components.
Right, so you get solder in the right place, and then the machine places those on the pads.
Yep.
We have a second machine over here. This is primarily set up to run the bottoms. And it's set up to run especially the bottoms of the M7 products, which are the most volume. So we kind of leave it set up that way. And then we can just run bottoms. So when we're really running M7s, we can run the bottoms, and then tops runs tops. Okay? And here we have various, PCB, are they called fabs?
Yep.
Okay, for various products. That was the display board for the M10. We saw that. Oh, and here is, I know this is the M1 volume control.
M1 volume control.
And then, we set up kits, say for M10 subboard kit, M21 daughter card, M7 display, MDX. So every product, we would try to have a kit together, so then when we go to run it, then we pull all the right reels out and get them loaded on the machine to run. It's a fairly big job. I mean, when the M7's running, we have all this stuff is going. We have all the empty feeders here, so we can load up other jobs and get them ready. Now over here, she just ran out of a part, right? Or did it run out or get stuck? Okay, ran out.
Got to fill it with more lettuce and tomato.
So it says, it skipped 15 components. That's
Ran out of components. Got to put more in.
Yeah, we got to put more components in. Okay. So she got to step through, and then there's the cap that was missing. Found the missing cap, and do the magic trick. Now over here, Betsy's she does
QC.
the hand placement. Once the boards come through and come out over here, she brings them over here, and she's going to put all the connectors on. Now the connectors have to be put on. So she put the connectors on, inspect and solder. and then we'll do an final inspection, make sure everything looks good, and then it comes over to our test area. All right, so now we got a board coming out. The buzzer went off. Here it comes. We're pretty manual here.
Pizza out of the oven.
Yep.
So that's a D-Day board,
Yes, for the M11.
M11.
You get a stencil video?
Yep, here comes the stenciling.
Yep, stenciling.
Very cool. Just like a printing press, but for PC boards.
And then there's always there's a handful of parts she has to place by hand.
Back to work. Need one of these to make cables. And she's got to place some of the chips onto the board.
Things that just the machine won't pick up if it has a funky top to it. If it's not flat, the machine won't pick it up because it's all vacuumed.
Yeah.
For years, we were having our PCB assembly done by a contract. And then, a year ago, an opportunity came around to acquire this facility. And so we decided to make the investment and bring it all in-house. Very little of these components are made in the U.S. I don't even think any of them are. These are, none of this is made in China. It's going to separate some misunderstanding.
Yeah.
None of the parts we're using of the, digital signal processing, logic chips, FPGAs, CPLDs, DSPs, none of it's made in China. It's all made in Taiwan, Philippines, Singapore, Korea. Only the resistors and stuff are made.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a misunderstanding I think people have.
Yep.
That the media talks about, that they don't know what they're talking about. No, China isn't the competitor.
Yeah.
The Koreans are. That's where it's all being made.
South Korea, Philippines, Taiwan,
and all the companies, the manufacturers and designers made that decision.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not something the government has anything to do with, other than people decided they would go there and set up their manufacturing because, hey, they made more money.
Yeah.
But, we set out the company 20 years ago, and I thought, I want to try to make things here because I felt there was a value, if you're an American company, to export products that are made here, and you can say that we're making this stuff here.
Yeah.
Now, the landscape has changed today, and I see people buy stuff from, doesn't matter where. In the end, I don't see a lot of people really caring
Where
about
it's built.
this. Okay?
Yeah.
They only
It's a shame.
care about the money. But we are able, with this operation, to fairly well compete with Asia for a particular assembly. This particular board we're running right now, I know what it costs to have it assembled in China.
Yeah.
And so I know what their overhead, I get their quote, I know exactly what the margin is they're working on.
Yeah.
And so I know, I've got a pretty good idea what our margin is. It's not as good as theirs, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, then you have to add in the other things, the fact that we're doing it here, there's a value there. And, we're within, 10%, and then you have shipping and other things that you have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So we were taking this process and giving it to another company in the US, who's then putting their margin on it.
Right.
So now you've got
The
50%, okay? Because they're going to make 25 points or something. So now you're, instead of it costing $100, it's costing $150, for example, right?
Yeah.
And the Chinese one was $110, $120, right? So we're in the 120, 130 range.
Because you moved everything in-house.
So we cut out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman.
We cut out the domestic CM, who is working on much higher margins than the Chinese will work on. Because the Chinese have lower labor costs. But the machines are the machines, and you got to buy the machines, and you have to, so there's an overhead to do that, and they have the volume. So, and our experience is, the quality that we've gotten from Asian, Chinese vendors is outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a quality thing. It's the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's all the same parts. It's all the same components.
Yeah,
In
sure.
fact, some of them I can buy cheaper here. So analog devices parts, you know, I can buy for less money here from DigiKey than that they can buy there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that, you know, aren't equal to equal. But we decided to do this, you know, to try to, you know, say we really make it here.
It's an impressive operation at Bricasti. Really, really impressive. It's good to see that there's still some manufacturing left in the US. Not a whole lot these days. These guys are hanging tough. Hanging tough. They're doing amazing work. Really quality products.